And we're going to ask Mike Smelser to come forward and to share with us renderings as it relates to the aquarium parking garage renovation project. You all are familiar with the project. It's a $3.5 million project. This is one that we are doing through a construction management services agreement. PBA met, Chad was at a couple weeks, last week or couple of weeks ago, I guess now.
Kirby was too.
Yeah, and Kirby was there.
Yeah, so
Commissioner Smith was there, so they've seen this, but we wanted to show, the commission as a whole, what we are doing, and, honestly, the main thing we want you to look at are some aesthetic improvements and changes that we are proposing to make, semi-aesthetic, also relating to better functionality of the garage. So with that, Mike, if you wanna go over that with us, please, sir.
Let me sort of orient you. This would be the Greystone. Here's the circle coming in, and the existing elevators here, and the ramp coming into the garage is here. One of the problems that we're having is these elevators are one of the most used elevators, as I understand it, even in the state. They're breaking down. They're just wore out. And there's also a problem with people walking across the elevator, this traffic path to get to the aquarium. So what we're doing, we're proposing putting a new bank of elevators here. We can put these in, keep these in service. When these get completed, then we can tear these down. So then this way, we'll come in on the ticket booth side. It's about a 6-foot step down to where we walk across to the aquarium. So the elevator will have two doors, a front and back door, and we can go down that additional 6 feet to get to the aquarium for handicap access without that ramp and everything that's in this area now. We're also adding new stairways. The stairways now, the water's draining into the stairways, they're rusting out. It's just a constant maintenance problem. So we're putting new stairways in, standpipes in those stairways. And also on the lower level, we're adding a break room and a restroom for the employees and a place to park their sweeper. So that sort of gives you a gist of some of the major things we're doing. Of course, there's some electrical issues, some exit issues, retaining wall issues, drainage issues, waterproofing issues. I'm not really getting into.
Hey, Mike, let me ask you something. On the stairways, the material, would that be powder coated, or is it gonna be a material that won't rust as easily?
We're going to enclose them.
Oh,
So when we enclose them, that should take care of all
Gotcha,
that
cool.
and really help a bunch.
The other thing is these elevators will be 3,500.
Yes.
For weight capacity, and right now those elevators that's in there, which one I think is still broken down on the right, but they're a lot smaller. So this will actually be able to hold more, so there's always a waiting line there. So these will be bigger, that more people can get inside as they ride too, that'll speed up the wait times.
And it also serves as, ADA requires you to have a stretcher for those elevators when it goes, so it accommodates a stretcher, so we get two benefits out of it. It's benefits from an ADA standpoint as well as getting more people. Basically, this is sort of an elevation. We're enclosing the stairway, so it will be enclosed, and also enclosing the elevator tower. And we're putting pitched roofs, metal roofs, putting the 3-foot overhang on it to help protect it and all that kind of stuff. That's sort of a real rough rendering, but this would give you a better idea of what it would look like. Basically with hardy siding, glass, nice pitched roof, good overhangs to help protect that, to keep water from getting into any of that area.
And this is where the existing elevator is, right? Right
Yes, yes, that's correct.
here. So, and we're just gonna remove that, we're not putting anything else in there?
We're
putting
looking
parking?
at some parking, some
Okay.
ADA parking in that area. And this would be another view. This is looking at the elevator and glass.
Is this coming down Greystone Heights type view right there, Mike, or from what vantage point?
That would be standing at the existing elevators looking back across the traffic light.
Yeah, coming down Greystone.
Yeah.
Coming down Grace on
Yeah.
First Parkway.
Big improvement, looks great.
Yeah.
Do we charge for ADA
right now for people that's
I don't
handicapped?
think- I don't-
Because I've had that asked me like 5 or 6 times, is there any place in the street to park for handicap? And somebody mentioned that they do that here, and I didn't know we did. So if they're handicapped, they get to park for free.
If they do, and they tell us that they're handicapped, because we don't always catch license plates and stuff, then we've got a handicap pass and we swipe them out and it registers it on the computer.
It does, okay. And the other thing is, do we need signage anywhere from the top saying handicap this way? Because there's different, I know that they're parking, but I didn't know, like, keep driving all the way down, I mean, because,
There, you gotta
you know what I mean? Because there's so many levels, I didn't know if there should be any signage for extra for the handicap.
Don't
You
we
ever had
have
that?
some signage for that associated
Is it
with
visible?
parking?
It's the metal signs, and then we have painted on the floor.
Right.
In the big blue and white stencils with the handicap, so they can see, and they're right by the elevators.
I just
So
didn't know if
it's
we
easy.
needed like additional handicap parking, keep going
Yeah.
type of signs, because they're on different
I'd say they're
levels.
used pretty much.
Are they on all levels?
Yeah, we have them on every level, right, handicap?
I've not
I
really
don't-
got any-
On every
Yeah,
level?
That's what I'm saying, the additional, because if you come in, you'll see those handicaps.
I got you.
And they'll be
I
like
got
2 or
you.
3, and they'll be like, oh, they're already full, we don't have parking.
Yeah.
So they'll park somewhere else. My thing is say additional handicap parking
On each
each
level
level
or
or
something,
something to let them know they can keep going
Okay.
down.
Okay.
Good
I
idea.
don't know if it's needed, but I just thought
Where
that.
is Seth here?
I'm behind you.
Yeah, if you'll make a note of that, Seth.
And there may be some other signage that we need to look at as
Yeah.
improvements.
Yes,
too,
sir.
that we'll
Yes, sir.
definitely do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks good, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you, turned out great.
So we're
It's
getting
not,
rid of
it's
the
not
red.
turned out yet. It's
Yeah.
proposed.
No more
to turn
red.
out Great.
Go in earth tones.
Yep.
Any questions, comments? All right.
Did we say we were having some leakage up on some of the platforms?
Well,
In the
That's-
parking spaces?
That,
in the top floor, we'll put a new waterproof coating on the.
okay, let me interrupt you. Are
Okay.
you thinking about the item that's on the agenda tonight?
No.
Maybe.
Sure.
Well, I mean, there is an agenda, there is a business
The main
item
garage.
related to the Parkway garage, the McMahon garage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the other things you're doing here is where there is runoff on the backside as you're going up, you are grading that too, to help some of the water runoff as well. So a lot of that drainage will be flowed out from them digging on the backside of that.
Damn, Joe.
Off
It's
that
got a
hill.
lot of
Back
drainage
down.
problems.
Yeah.
And we're waterproofing the elevator
Yeah,
machine room,
yeah.
electrical room's leaking, and we're waterproofing that. I mean, it's just a lot of drainage
Well-
issues.
They're gonna cut that hill where you pull up to the
Right.
parking garage. They're gonna grade that better where the water won't run into
Yeah.
it.
Well, and, you know, the fact of the matter is, these garages are 20 years old. So even if it was just perfect to begin with, it's gonna need some maintenance and,
And as part of it too, they need to be caulked, and you need to do it periodically. And I don't think this one's ever caulked, and I think that helps some on the leakage. But we're putting a new waterproofing membrane on the top deck as part of this.
do we have any timeframes yet for the project?
We met last week with our project manager, and they're working up us a schedule of how we can tackle this and keep the garage open and all that kind of stuff. So they're working on that, and I've not got their feedback yet.
So anticipate starting this sometime shortly after the first of the year?
We can some of the grading and drainage issues and waterproofing issues. So we'll just have to work through it and see.
Is there any other issues up there that we need to be aware of?
And I think Mike has met with, everyone, hasn't he, to,
Yeah, we got a whole list of, a grocery list of stuff.
got any other issues?
Speak up, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
speak
yeah,
up.
well,
Any other
he's
issues?
met with Amy and,
Several
y'all
times.
vetted
We've
through
met several
the,
times.
yeah,
I've
they've
come
met
to
several
Ross, walked
times.
through it.
We started this in 2020. I've got a report that I did in 2020.
Hey, Kirby.
Okay.
Because I knew you was talking.
We can wake up now.
Thank you, Mike.
Hey, thank you all.
Appreciate it.
So Kirby, all, Commissioner Smith, all you missed was what you saw 2 weeks ago. So there you go.
And I missed the lovely Mike.
I know,
Yes.
that's what you missed most. Thank you all.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, so with that, shall we, look at the 2023 marketing plan and budget with Chad and his compadres over there?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm joined by Ms. Ann Berry, the VP of Finance, and Scott Murphy, VP of Operations. So I'm going to start with our marketing plan and just roll right into our approved CDB budget and give you some highlights on that. So real quick, going to show you our media plan, talk to you a little bit about some of our new and continued media tactics, show you how we measure it, and then have a small Q&A. So who's our target audience this year? Our target audience, according to some of the officials out there and some of the people who are looking at travel trends, this is from Booking.com. These are what trends that we really are looking after for 2023 travel. The top one really doesn't relate to us, people who are looking for off the beaten path destinations, but number 2 really does. Family, multi-generational travel, really hot for 2023. As we move through nostalgic travel, that's also really big for Gatlinburg. We're a high repeat visitation, very nostalgic. And then number 4 is my favorite, embracing the great outdoors. So I think we're going to travel for 2023 for our area is going to be very high based on some of these trends that we see. Southern Living just did a small thing about small town travel. They're actually declaring that 2023 will be the year of small towns. People are tired of some of the larger cities, some of the crowds, populations. They're looking for smaller little getaways, which is a perfect niche for us because we were voted this year as one of the 27 most amazing, beautiful towns by Southern Living. So a good segue. We still work with Design Sensory. They are our agency partner. They're not our agency of record, but they are our partner that we do all of our marketing and advertising through from a paid display perspective. Our target audience this year really hasn't changed year over year. We know that females make the buying decision, and so typically our target audience is females 25 to 65 with a household income of about $100,000. That does vary on both sides of the factor when we're looking at various different types of markets. Certain markets we will go in a little bit lower, some markets will go in a little bit higher. But the same thing, people that are looking for family vacations, outdoor enthusiasts, beachgoers, theme parks, the demographic really hasn't changed, but our ability to find people looking for us and looking for places like us has gotten drastically better. We're able to dial in and get a more specific traveler. So what does our media plan look like for target markets? This year we are in 16 markets from a broadcast, traditional and digital perspective. These are the core markets that we're in. Nashville and Atlanta being the number 1, number 2 largest markets to Gatlinburg.com, followed by some of our other markets that you'll see on here, Birmingham, Huntsville, GSA, really strong markets for us historically, Cincinnati, Louisville, Lexington. I will point out 2 markets on here that continue to emerge. One is Charlotte, North Carolina. We compete with that market quite a bit for the beach, but it is continuing to becoming stronger and stronger, and Washington, D.C. continues to evolve. Pre-COVID to 2020 to now, the organic search volume to our site has increased 253% out of Washington, D.C. without spending a penny in that market. They just continue to look for us, and it's becoming an emerging market for us. Chicago, you see on there, that's purely population index and the amount of people that are in those surrounding areas. It drives up our web traffic from that Chicago. But we do retarget a lot of people. So that's kind of markets that you'll see in the 2023 plan. So the flighting times kind of stay the same. You know, Gatlinburg now, we're a full 4-season destination. So our planning windows really are pre-spring break, pre-Memorial Day, summer vacation, move into the fall, and then we're all into winter magic. So this will be the first time, 2022, that we're actually running a winter television commercial. And it's all about experience winter magic, experience Gatlinburg in the winter. There's so many things to do, we're expecting that to resonate very, very well. The week planning, as you can figure, as you get further out, the week planning gets further out, so the closer you are, the closer the weeks are that we plan. And that's whenever you'll see the flighting, when I show you the marketing plan here in just a bit. So new and continued media tactics that we're going to be using for 2023. This will be the first year we've actually invested into an influencer campaign. And so those of you who aren't familiar with influencer campaign, imagine it as public relations, but from a niche perspective audience. So if Commissioner Reagan had a very specific audience that he would speak into on his social media, and he have millions of followers, he would be talking about our brand, but through his voice. So it's not like us saying, we're doing great. It's like the influencer saying, this place is fantastic. Here's our experience that happened here. And this is really the first time we've invested in this. It's becoming a very, very hot topic. It's now just starting to show kind of fruits of return on investment. It's been around for quite some time, but now I'm just starting to buy into it, I gotta be honest, because it's gotta really have some kind of return on investment. So this is exciting for us. It's the first time. It is definitely gonna be interesting.
Who'd be talking, Chad?
What's that? I'm sorry.
Who would be influencing?
So we have 4 or 5 influencer campaigns, and the strategy is to bring in niche-specific influencers who talk about different things to different audiences. So we base them based off of, they're vetted based on how many followers that they have and what audience do they speak to, and then obviously it has to be family friendly, it has to be fit into what we represent as a brand. We don't have the very specifics of who that individual person or people will be, but we know what categories are gonna be. So we have them broken down into like a hero influencer, that's somebody who has more than 2 million followers. Then you'll have the smaller niche influencers, it might be outdoor enthusiasts, it might be people who just like, attractions. And so there's a really good strategy of overlaying various types of influencers to get real specific niche markets.
We have
But-
people come in and speak specifically, like, their experience about the food here.
Yes.
Or just like the Mount Costa over the amusement, so you're gonna have specific people come in to.
Absolutely. And then we'll have one that's kind of a general overarching brand, like there's some hero families. There's one that we're looking at that has 5 million plus followers, and they go in and do family destination stuff, and they'll do picnics, and they'll go downtown, and they'll ride the trolley, and then they really do video and blog and talk about their whole experience.
So
as-
how much money is being spent on this?
The entire program for the entire year is $341,000. $341,000. That was approved at
The
the last one.
influencers get paid.
They do get paid, yes. They absolutely do get paid. And they get paid based on several things, the reach, and just like you would if it was a digital impression, how many people are you reaching with that voice? What was the return on investment? So, yeah, this will be the first time that we've done this, yeah.
Do you do the filming or do they do that?
Oh, no, it's all done from their perspective. They come in, they film it, it's their audience that you're trying to reach. So just as if I was gonna go into a market and say, I wanna reach this market, I might need to use this metric, radio, television, a certain television station to reach a specific market. We're reaching their audience, but it's through their voice about our brand.
Is that specific just salary for that 341, or is that also for stay?
Everything.
In,
It's-
like for them paying for all their amusements
Yeah.
and everything else?
Yeah, that's inclusive, the entire dollar amount to fund the entire program for the year. At this point, we're looking at what that breaks out to, but no, that is not all. That's all expenses and everything included.
But you figured if they were coming to talk about their amusements and stuff, you could probably get tickets and stuff?
Oh, yeah,
for them to
no
do
doubt,
That
yeah.
shouldn't cost as much? and-
No, there'll be ways to cut down on those expenses 100%, yeah.
Okay.
I know it probably won't happen, but if for some reason you do not like their interview or you do not like their presentation, you had rejection.
We do. In the original vetting, we kind of go through that, and when we sign an agreement with them, we do have final say over content. And so if it doesn't agree with our brand standards, if it doesn't agree with our philosophies, we can kill it instantly. So, yeah,
Do they have to share it with you before they put it on social media?
they do, yeah.
And you have to review it and sign off on it?
That is correct, yeah, yeah. It's exciting, it's new, it's been around for a while. Honestly, I've killed this program for years, until just now, I think it has some viability. When you're starting to see some of the big companies that are shifting to where people are booking and where they're seeing and what influence they get. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. I think it'll be a positive thing, I really do. So.
Do you have a way to track it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We'll track it just like we do with any other media. We can track impressions, we can track clickbacks, click-throughs. So we have certain metrics that we have to have that would equal our ROI. So, and then that'll all get shared with the marketing committee and as we start to move forward with executing that plan.
And when they have 2 million followers, is that on one social media, like is that just on Facebook, or is that Facebook, Instagram combined, or when you look, how do you?
That is an excellent question. So what we do is we look at ones that are heroes in these individual verticals. So if it is TikTok, we stick just to TikTok. They might have 5 million followers on TikTok. It can't be a combination of
Right.
3 different social medias. They have to have a share of voice that's significant in order for us to make an investment.
Good.
For sure, yeah. And we vet these guys quite a bit. Over the past couple of years, we've had travel writers for years. We vet them with a very strenuous process of what we allow, what we don't allow, what we'll pay for, what we don't pay for, and this is really the evolution of that, to be honest. Cool, great questions. Cross-device targeting, so this is something that's not new, but we're continuing to do a much better job. You're gonna get served a Gatlinburg ad on television, OTT. Simultaneously, you will get delivered ads across devices within your home. You could be sitting there on your iPad or your desktop or your cell phone, and you will also get a Gatlinburg ad delivered to you while you're watching Gatlinburg on TV. This is excellent for these next topics, which is competitive conquesting, where we are going in and saying, we want to compete against these other markets. So if we have someone coming to the area, if they're going to Knoxville, we want to make sure that they are aware of Gatlinburg. If they're going to Pigeon Forge, we want to make sure they're aware of us. And then the next one is alternative destination intercepting, which is if we're targeting Nashville, which I said is one of our huge audiences, if they're looking at going to Myrtle Beach, I want them to see a Gatlinburg ad. And so that's really looking at alternative destinations, looking at our key markets where people are coming from, what they are searching for, and then us making sure they're also aware of Gatlinburg. So you probably can't see this that far away, but this is our total market spend broken down by percentages. But what I wanted to show you here was historically, in years past, broadcast television has always been the biggest percentage of the pie, right? At this percentage of the pie, it's about 24.4%. But when you go in, you start taking out all the digital components that we have and lumping them together. Digital now, it makes up 53% of our entire budget. And that will be continue year over year over year. That is becoming the trend more and more. Majority of this is the increase of digital television, the connected TV, the OTT, as well as the influencer spend. We just talked about the influencer spend. It makes up about 4.28% of our marketing plan for next year.
Can you explain the influencer spend a little bit more? So if I'm at a beach and I'm there and I Google a certain thing, it's gonna come up like in their search items, or is it gonna be when they link into something, there'll be like a advertisement in that link?
Both.
It's gonna be both?
And it's both. One's based on search, one's based on programmatic display advertising, but it's all based on where they're geographically located. So I don't want to waste the money if they're in, Michigan,
Right.
but if they're sitting in Atlanta or Nashville or Charlotte, Charlotte is probably the biggest competitor for Myrtle Beach, that has the highest disposable income with the shortest drivable distance to Myrtle Beach. So if they're sitting in Charlotte and they type in Myrtle Beach, or if they type in beach destination from a search perspective, they're gonna get a Gatlinburg ad,
Okay.
based on those parameters of where they are and what they search for. Yeah. Great question. So some of our media tactics and the data that we collect from this, Google Analytics, it's kind of what we live and breathe by from Gatlinburg.com. We do collect a lot of attractions data. So we know from several places, including the aquarium, their zip code, they pull every 5th transaction, and we have the zip code information, and we can look at where they're coming from according to our metrics. Industry research, what people are searching for, what kind of the trends are. DoubleClick, which is our marketing manager, where we do our paid ad through, which brings me into Google AdWords. Facebook Insights, our license plate reader, so thank you for that. And then Datafy, the mobile attribution software that we have that can track devices that come from other markets, and then we can say where they are in the market and how long they stay.
You mentioned license plate stuff. Are we back online with that now?
Halfway. We still have access to it, but I think we had a little bit of an issue with it.
We did. It's, but I'm working through how to get the data that's wanted from it to, so now I can tell you exactly how many of each different state that we tracked are coming through in a monthly period and a weekly period, so. Their reporting wasn't pulling up correctly. I don't know, something with the website, but now they've resolved it. So we're able to.
But it just tells us state, it don't tell us city?
No,
No,
it's
it's on
all,
the
it's the
state.
state, it's based on the state's license plate. So we collect the data of how many, you know, state of Ohio license plates came inbound during a certain time period, and that's how it's reported.
Is this being done electronically and automatically now, or?
We wish.
Well, I can pull it up on the license plate, the website that tracks it, but of course then I put it into a spreadsheet and.
Are we talking about the flock
The
camera
flock,
system?
Yeah.
Can you tell the difference though if it says it's a Texas rental car from the airport?
No.
Compared, so if it
No.
just says
It
state, it
just-
don't matter if you don't know if it's a rental, if it's actually from there.
Correct.
And
The flock system doesn't tell a difference.
I'm just saying, if we're going to advertise in Texas, and we get a lot of people in Texas, but we don't know where to advertise because it's such a big state, what does that benefit to us?
Yeah. I don't know if the system can delineate, you know,
Yeah.
certain areas.
I think what it's really useful for is saying, here's where we did advertise, here's where we are seeing traffic coming from. Organically, if you look at our web traffic and see where people came from organically and then look at those places, there are direct correlations. There would be some anomalies, but the rental cars, that's one of the things that I brought up. That was actually a very good question, because you see a lot of rental cars out of Florida and Texas.
Right.
And so, you know, knowing that, you know, nobody's gonna register a rental car in New York City because of the, you know, the rates and all the taxes. But Florida is a primary place for that. So you can kind of adjust that out with just some, you know, with some delta
But I
on
think the
spreadsheet.
information that has come from the flock system has been very helpful
Yeah.
in having us identify that North Carolina license plates are really, I mean, we had a lot of them over the course of the last few years, which I think is what helped motivate some of the, you know, buying media placement in the North Carolina area. No, it was thought that people aren't coming over the mountain, but they really are when you look at the number of license plates from North Carolina that are entering.
This
the
system is used by the police department also?
Yes.
It is their system.
Is there a system, another system that we could get, or that you've looked into, or that you need, or information you need from?
That's a good question. I know Mark had been part of the spearhead on this, and I know Logan had been as well. I have not been a part of that, is looking out there to say, hey, what could we possibly do this next? But it's definitely something we could look into. What we have so far, it does marry up pretty evenly with where we're advertising, and where we see higher levels of repeat businesses, like the Ohio market. You know, they're so familiar with Gatlinburg, they don't need a lot of advertising to come back. It's more of a reminder. So you see that, and you do see the seasonality when you look at some of Ann's reports, and you look at them month to month, you see the same seasonality as we do on our visitations. So it's pretty accurate.
So it's pretty much confirmation you're advertising in the correct place.
Absolutely right. And then I can marry that license plate data up to our Datafy data and say, how close is that license plate to the actual attribution of that cell phone that also came to the market? And it is scary close. So, yeah. So we're still using DVL Signatol or Finn as our partner for several things, but PR being the principal one. I'll also point out this is also the agency now of record for the Great Smoky Mountain National Park in rolling out the information about the parking for 2023. This is a quick snapshot of our new beautiful 2023 vacation guide. It is a full spread of a beautiful shot of Gatlinburg with Mount LeConte. This is the front and this is the back, so you open it up, you see that vast, beautiful image. It's probably also going to be what image we use on the wall that's at the convention center that we proposed here just recently. So we're excited to see this. You're actually going to see this marketing plan that I hand out in just a second. One of the things I want to point out, parking, we always get that parking is sometimes an issue. So in this year, we have a section about parking. You can scan that Q code, it'll bring you right to parking, where you can look at actual availability in real time in two of your lots for sure. So hopefully this helps with alleviating certain things. But it's very well done. You're going to see a nice sneak peek of this. You'll get the very first draft at the chamber banquet. So we're excited. The inside, we're going to do a whole thing about seasonality. It's been completely redesigned, so we're really excited about that. On the public relations side, real quick, we still bring in travel writers in addition to the influencers, bloggers. We have lots of TV shows that are out here, radio shows, editorials, listicles, and awards. Real quick, just some of the national publications that you'll see: Southern Living, Paula Deen, Good Grit, Food Network, Condé Nast Traveler, which is one of the leading high-end travel magazines in the world. We actually have won some accolades, and I'm talking about at City Commission this evening about, for some of our awards for third quarter, Pioneer Woman, and USA Today. Real quick, and I'll just wrap this up with some of the measurements that we use. On-site conversions to Gatlinburg.com, kind of what's our click-through rate, we use that as a conversion. Bookings out into our lodging and hospitality partners and also attractions partners. The STAR report, Datafy, and our favorite one, which is your favorite one as well, which is how does this relate into tax revenue? And then, real quick on the 2023 budget, let's talk numbers here for a second. I don't know if you can see that this far away, so I'll just talk about the variances. So 2022 to 2023, you'll see a direct increase in marketing spend. Traditional broadcast, we brought up about $300,000. Digital television, you'll also see went from a budget of 500 to 720. Digital social, which is really becoming one of the hot metrics for us for a higher conversion rate with a lower cost, has also increased to 750. Digital display advertising went from 750 to 900. Outdoor advertising, the rest kind of stayed the same, print and co-ops.
Outdoor advertising, billboards?
Billboards, yes, sir, yes, sir. Billboards are hot for us for sure, and we do have a nice co-op with Dollywood, which you guys have seen, that we're going to continue as well. Next slide here, the commissions, they're up slightly just due to because we're placing more media. As you get through, really the only other anomaly that you'll see, PR is up slightly because we're doing more PR. And there's one decrease that you'll see right here, community events, and you'll see that also when I present the actual approved plan, is that our 4th of July fireworks, we budgeted for a 2-location show, and we only went with a 1-location show, and Scott almost burned down the roof at the convention center. And so we have dialed back some of the fireworks that we had, and we didn't even come close to spending the budget this year, which I thought was a really spectacular show. So there's some cost savings there as well. In all, last year we had a $5.772 million approved budget for marketing, and this year it's going to go to $6,244,000 and some change. Plus there will be an addition of some of the retained earnings that we have, which will probably round the budget up to around $8 million, roughly.
Are we getting, with those increases, are we getting a lot more, or is it just mainly we're getting the same stuff and the inflation has went up in cost?
It's not so much inflation on paid digital. There's a little bit of hype increase on print. So print went up about 30%, so the vacation guide went up. If you're printing outdoor advertising, vinyl, which is a petroleum-based product, it went up. You know, when these things go up, even if the gas prices go back down, they never bring the prices down. So print goes up, your vinyl costs will go up on your billboards. So those kind of went up a little bit. Television went up slightly, just a little bit, and it will as you move into some election years and, you know, or midterms and whatnot. So that'll go up slightly, but digital is pretty much straightforward. I mean, you're paying for the people that you get. So I think we're over 50%, right, of our total media, our total budget goes into actual paid media.
The increase in budget dollars is going to be direct placement. It's not, you know, a cost more for an ad.
Right.
It is direct placement. But, and that's only to compensate for, in our current year, we used $3 million of surplus funds, of surplus and the look-back funds that were generously given to us by the city to augment media placement, direct media placement. And so using, you know, next year's revenue that'll be coming in, we're trying to reinforce those same, you know, the traditional, the digital markets. That's why those increases are there. It's not because costs have increased, it's to actually get as much diversity of placement.
Exactly. Cool. Any questions about the marketing plan? I'll also give this out to you here. You'll be the first one to see this. How are you, sir?
Chad, is our billboard campaign still mainly Nashville and Atlanta?
So right now we have 14 billboards in Atlanta, we have 14 billboards in Nashville, and 9 billboards in Charlotte.
Cincinnati.
Oh, in Cincinnati. That's a good call.
Yeah, we did.
So we have a Cincinnati campaign where we did use some of our look-back money this year. We put in over 50 poster boards in the downtown area, and I wrapped an entire building, a 72-foot cityscape on the side of a building on 6-lane interstate going into Cincinnati. That was a giant waterfall, and the caption was, "The mountains are calling." Got it. So if you're sitting in traffic and you're tired of the big city life, there it is. So, so this marketing plan that I just handed out, that's the 2023 guide. Everything that I presented is actually in that, plus a few more things. This will also get handed out at the chamber bank. So, if you don't have any questions about marketing, I will move over to our actual approved GCDB budget. Okay.
This is the total budget, right?
This is the total
Chad?
budget,
And what
yes,
you were
ma'am.
just going over was.
That was just
the-
marketing, yes,
just
ma'am. This
marketing.
is the total budget. You got one, right? I do. Okay, well, need it. Let me grab mine with my notes here. I don't have this one on the screen, but, well, we will just walk through it. So, what you're looking at is the board-approved, GCDB 2023 budget. And I won't go line by line, but I'll start out with the operating income, and I'll just talk about some of the variances, and then we'll do the same as we move into the expenses. When you look across the top at the city funding, thank you so much. I mean, the gracious city funding that we continue to get, and we try to put as much as we can of that back into direct media placement. As you go through there, you will see that the major increases are direct city funding as well as convention center revenue that's coming in, which gives us a total income of about $13,548,000. And then as we start to move into expenses, some of the primary variances that you'll see, and you'll see an increase of our city co-op advertising. That's just a function of us advertising more. If you start to scroll down marketing expenditures, that's the big one. That's the $6.24 million that we just went through in the marketing presentation. And public relations, you'll see an increase there, slightly brings it up to about $305,000. An increase on the.
Public relations went down.
What's that?
Public relations went down.
Oh, yeah, it
Public
did.
relations went down slightly.
Oh, there you go. I'll have to check that, Chad. The interim guide was, the vacation guide, sorry, that was an increase, what we just talked about, inflation on expenses as far as paper cost. As you scroll through here, I see community events, that went down. That's directly related to the fireworks saving that we just talked about. And 6219 employee recruitment and rewards, those two, we increased those for, obviously for recruitment and also rewards for retention. I think that's an excellent program that we'll continue to punch in. The only other large variance there would be payroll. As we always budget to be fully staffed at about right under 49, people are where we like to be staffed, and doesn't like it if we get above 50. But 49 is where we like to be fully staffed. I think right now we're about 37-ish.
Today.
Today, 37.
Last week we were at 40,
Okay.
today we're at 37.
Yes,
It's
the environment that we currently live in.
one forward, three back.
Yeah, exactly. The only other anomalies on here, are the variances I point out, is convention center contracted services. This is due to some of the new things that we have happening with construction and new things that we have over there. And then this is a really positive one, which is welcome center cost of goods sold, as that increases clearly because the revenue line at the top was increasing. And we always budget to have a zero net income, and so other than the small anomaly that I see in PR, which I need to go back and take a look at, it should be at least
It's
flat.
a
but-
decrease for promotions because we're doing that influencer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We decreased the budgeted funds in PR because normally our PR line brings in influencers and pays for travel writers and such things. And now that we're doing this campaign, it won't be coming directly out of that budget, out of the PR promotions budget. So it was decreased by $10,000.
Good deal. Good report, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments?
Yeah, let me ask a question, and I don't know if we want to bring it up or not, but how much is the chamber building being used right now?
It's used every day. I mean, if we're, as far as employees, I mean, we have.
You have offices there,
Oh,
you
yeah.
have people there now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. so
Yeah, it's
your boss is
open.
leaving.
The chamber sales manager and assistant are in that building along with all of the marketing and PR
Okay.
is staffed.
As the renovations Vice Mayor, occurred at the convention center. There was a move of the marketing department to the chamber
That's right.
building.
And then in hopes, right now, I'm putting together a small capital budget that our board is gonna take a look at for some improvements for the chamber building, and so some small things that I think we need to do. But it's used quite a bit, actually, you know, and the back room is used all the time.
Yeah, I know
for-
that.
Yeah.
It's
So
the
it's-
same age as the parking garage, so. Needs some.
For sure. Okay, if I don't have any other questions, thank you for letting us to present.
Thank you, Chad.
Appreciate it.
Okay, sir. So, Nick White, our trolley manager, is here, and, Nick has, we've been having a lot of conversations about trolley routes and things of that nature, and so Nick, came to us and with the proposal that he's handing out to you, that we, think makes some sense to proceed with, and that's why we're here this evening. And so with that, Nick, if you want to,
Absolutely.
go over the proposal.
We have been working with a analyst company by the name of Aton, and they have been analyzing the routes and the trolley service to see what we could do, what we currently have, to make it more efficient. And these are some of the suggestions based upon what they presented to us and what has worked historically best for the city. In this packet, we'll go over it. It said, you know, that we're requesting. The first big thing is we need to figure out a way to speed the trolleys up as far as the frequency is concerned, but with the manpower that we have now. The best way we can do that, and part of their findings is to discontinue service between the parkway between traffic lights 6 and 8. Because what happens is some of the trolleys get in that heavy, thick traffic there, and they can't get moving again. Actually, historically in the past, once upon a time, there was no service between 6 and 8. What that would allow us to do is to cut the purple route in half, where one trolley could go immediately back to the Welcome Center, and you'll see the drawing on the next page there. The purple, instead of going uptown where the red is, would just go back from the Welcome Center to the aquarium. So we could hurry up and get that right back out of town. Then we could bring back the red route how it used to be, and it would go up River Road, service Ski Mountain, come back at traffic light 10, come to 8, and continue up Airport Road to Park Vista Hotel. That red route will take about 30 minutes for it to make its circle, so we can get better service up Airport Road, we'll get better service at Park Vista. Along with doing that, it will cut the blue out, because blue used to service, or currently serves, Airport Road, Cherokee Orchard. That would take that route and send it right back out of town again. By cutting these routes up, we can speed the frequency of these trolleys. If we establish these core routes,
Yeah, so this is the existing route.
existing, yes, the existing map is on the back.
Yeah, did you say that already? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, no,
Yeah,
you're fine.
and then the smaller map is the proposed, and I will
Yes.
say that as it relates to the, yellow route
Yes.
changes, I don't think we were ready to do those yet,
Okay,
okay? So that's something that I think I'm studying that fairly. Robert, Henderson, Greg, that we were still considering just what to do in that regard.
Okay.
Of course, I think the yellow route is over
is over
right
right
now
now.
anyway.
Yes.
So really, it doesn't make a lot of difference until next.
This one's really, I think, the best one.
Yeah.
Bringing them from the parking lot out on the spur into town, and then going right back and
Right,
keep
going back and
servicing
forth.
that. Yeah.
So actually, the yellow route is something, again, that really doesn't come into play right now because the route stopped at the end of October.
Right.
As it always has.
Right.
So we'll be, looking at that and talking more with you about that between now, and I think it resumes in May.
Yes.
Yeah, so we can kind of put that on the back burner.
Good. Good improvements.
And the back one you say is,
the current routes as they are today.
So basically.
and this one is the proposal.
Yes.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, it is to reactivate what we call the red route. And I can tell you, I've had a couple of business people actually ask for this. And so to reactivate the red route to not run between six and eight. To not do that route, between 6 and 8. And, is that it in a nutshell?
Yes, correct. Yes, it is, that is
Yeah.
correct.
So
That'll
like
give
goes
you-
up, River Road and then down Parkway and up,
Airport Road.
Airport, sure.
because lots of walking traffic on Airport Road.
Yes.
And have you had your motels get in touch with you and say
No,
we need
actually-
more trolleys or something?
No, actually, they have not.
Okay.
You know, actually, they have not as far as that regard, they have.
How many trolleys do we have on the red route? Running at one time?
Well, we would have one trolley per color, is what you'd have.
So,
One per-
and Nick said this, but to really put this in perspective, how many drivers are we short? How many?
Fully stacked, we should have about 30, but we got about 15.
So that's the level of shortness, that's not the right way to put that, but y'all know what I'm talking about, that we are experiencing, which is the other reason that Nick brought this to us administratively, and then we felt that due to this, pretty dramatic shortage of drivers, which by the way, our sister city is experiencing as well, and Nick is in communication a lot with his counterpart down there.
Right.
In Pigeon Forge. Because of that, we felt that it was really important to go ahead and discuss making these changes and not wait until
Yeah.
a later date. So basically, we're lucky to have one trolley on each route.
So we have 4 drivers a day, basically on 4 routes.
Yeah, per shift,
Per shift.
yes, per shift. You'll have a morning and evening shift, but right now we're on reduced hours. During the week, it's only 10 to 6 during, and then goes to 10 on the weekends. But when we're fully active, yes.
What's
So-
the negative to doing that?
I don't particularly really see one, to be honest, because what's gonna happen is, the way oh, go ahead.
Well, let me throw this in. I think the only negative would be between the not running between 6 and 8.
Mhm.
But I just don't understand why that would even be, but I mean, that would be the only thing, I think, I'm correct in saying it this way, that would represent a loss of service.
So why did we change the red? What made us change to the,
I believe that was COVID changes, if I'm not mistaken.
There you go, COVID change.
Yes.
COVID,
I didn't know the answer, so that's good.
blame COVID, you're always safe.
No, it really was,
Yeah,
seriously,
yeah.
because actually, we just stopped running trolleys, period, for how long? Robert, Larry, Ed, Seth?
Month and a half.
It was like almost 2 months.
Almost 2 months. And so then when we resumed, we had to do all those things with the COVID requirements and all those kind of things, so. Good question, but it was COVID.
Good report, thanks.
So, I mean, if you all, what we're at, the ask
Yes.
here today is that y'all would have to vote to approve this, but if we've got the consensus to do this, then we'd like to go ahead and get this
Proceed.
going, within a couple of weeks?
Yes,
or-
yes,
Yeah.
because we would have to go out and take signs down, make little new colored decals,
Yeah.
for the signs, for the printers to come back, but we can implement this within a week or so.
Say December 1st?
Yes.
Time frame.
so would you still need 30 people if you do this?
Yes, because what we'll do is, those will be what we call, or I call like the foundation or core routes, and as we get more drivers, we'll just put more trolleys on those routes to increase frequency that much more.
Yeah, good deal. Any other questions, comments?
What's the downfall with the yellow one, not going ahead and doing that?
Well, it's not running right now for winter.
Well, I know it's not running, but.
Well, just the,
just
not
for
doing
future
the,
funds or whatever.
not doing, let me see if I remember here.
Where we're cutting out
Help me,
Bighorn
guys.
Road,
Yes.
we're going down and turning around and it'll save us a ton of gas, but he said you're not having any riders on Buckhorn?
We got a what? We have to, yeah, there's the campground agreement that impacts this as well.
Is that
Greenbrier
on-
Camp.
So that's what my next question was, is that campground on the blue route or the yellow route?
Well,
It
they're not running,
depends.
Okay.
Oh, we're not
they're
running.
not, that's not happening now.
Okay, all right.
Both the Arts and Crafts route and the campground route are May, April through October.
Yeah.
Which
Yes.
one is it, April or May?
I believe it. Is it April?
April.
April,
Yeah.
okay.
And so we'll have more discussion about that over the next few weeks.
Good deal.
So if you're good to go, we'll do this and make it
Yeah.
effective December the 1st.
Everybody good?
Is that good?
Yes.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Nick. And that is what we had to go over with you in the work session.
All right. Good deal.
Okay? Did you need something else,
Yeah, I was just gonna
Chad?
ask one question. I mean, we print those maps, so when this goes into effect, the changes, do we need to make changes and then reprint the maps for December?
Yes.
I've actually been talking with the publisher, as
Okay.
good as it is. We
Okay.
need to do a few, little tweaks to it, but I'll get with you when everything's put
Right.
together.
Wonderful.
Yeah, because we do get a lot of questions at both at the Welcome
Yeah.
Center at
Mhm.
Spur and at the aquarium.
Right.
So, and hand out a lot of those maps.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
wondering, can you not push them to get on their phone to download the maps?
We try.
We, actually, we have put on board the trolleys, the Cracker website, so we can, as far as the trolleys are concerned, we can persuade the passengers to use that instead of the paper.
Right.
So we do have that.
But
on
they
board.
also use it as a directional aid. So,
Right. Okay.
Okay,
yes.
Okay, good deal.
okay, thank you all.